Hello and welcome to Nationwide. My name is Ogochkuka Ona and we are reaching you from Abuja. Thugs are reported to have attacked the home of a PDP chieftain with dynamite at Bansia in Yenagoa near former President Goodluck Jonathan's residence. Report also has it that 2 other people sustained gunshot injuries at Opolo, still in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. We'll bring you details of our reports in the course of the bulletin. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has issued an amended list of candidates for the upcoming Bayelsa State governorship election. The updated list now includes the names of Timipre Silva and his running mate Joshua Makaiva, who are contesting on the All Progressives Congress APC platform. The move comes after a series of legal developments. The Federal High Court in Abuja had on October 10 disqualified Timipre Silva from participating in the state governorship election. The court's judgment cited Silva's previous 2 terms as governor, totaling 5 years in office, which would breach the 1999 constitution if he was allowed to run for office again. The Court of Appeal later set aside the earlier judgment, prompting INEC to update the candidates list in compliance with Section 287 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. And still in Bayelsa State, the Nigerian Army has conducted a show of force in Yenagoa to demonstrate its preparedness for a peaceful and hitch-free election in Bayelsa State come November 11, 2023. General Officer Commanding 6th Division, Nigerian Army Land Component, Port Harcourt, Commander, Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, Major General Jamal Abdusalam, says the exercise is to build confidence in citizens that security of lives and property will be of priority to security agencies. Baratwa Pere, Awe, reports.
The show of force carried out along major roads in Yenagoa and Ogbia local government areas of Bayelsa State by the Nigerian Army and sister security agencies including the Federal Road Safety Corps, FROSC, is to send a message of assurance to citizens of the readiness of security operatives to protect them and ensure a peaceful atmosphere for credible governorship elections in Bayelsa State. General Officer Commanding 6th Division, Nigerian Army, Land Component and Commander Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, Major General Jamal Abdusalam speaks on the essence of the exercise.
The essence of this exercise is just to send a signal to everybody that we're here and we are ready.
The exercise, according to him, is also a strong message to those who might want to make trouble during the election to perish the thought.
Indeed, we are aware of areas that are flashpoints for, during and after elections, and we have made adequate plans to tackle those issues when they come.
This is not the first time the security agencies in Bayelsa State are making public their readiness to provide adequate security before, during and after the state's upcoming governorship election, insisting that the cooperation of the people is necessary for them to achieve their targets. In Yenagoa, Baratwaipre Awi, NTA News.
Senate has urged federal government to lift the 20-kilometer ban on sale of petroleum products in border communities to alleviate economic hardship in areas affected. It also wants the Comptroller General of Customs to investigate and review activities of officials engaged in special operations to ensure that standard procedures are adhered to. This formed part of recommendations of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee mandated to investigate alleged abuse of firearms by officials of Nigeria Customs Service. Other recommendations of the committee adopted by the Senate include a call for the reduction of multiple checkpoints along corridors of border communities to enable free movement of goods, especially farm produce, to their main towns.
Officers found guilty of breaching the Customs Act and standard operational procedures should be punished accordingly. The act of harassing, shooting, and at innocent citizens, raiding markets, and chasing smugglers into towns, leading to chaos and loss of lives, is unacceptable.
700 households selected from the 64,000 internally displaced persons in Niger State affected by either natural or human disasters are to benefit from the benevolence of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. Hussein Amusa reports that Governor Mohammed Umar Bago made a symbolic presentation of the food items to some of the beneficiaries.
Concerned by the plight of 64,000 people displaced by flood and banditry in Niger State, informed the visit of the Federal Commissioner of National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Tijani Aliu Ahmad and his team. It is also an opportunity to bring to fruition the renewed hope agenda of the present administration, which among other things underscores the importance of welfare of internally displaced persons to rebuild and rekindle their hopes.
The Commission is out to ensure that these people were provided with not only food and shelter, but also provide a lasting solution. The Commission intends to provide at least representative cities.
Governor Muhammad Umar Bago, who described the visit as apt, assured that the state is ready to collaborate with the Commission in order to provide succor to the internally displaced persons in the state.
Niger State deserves attention, federal attention. Niger State has woken up. We are a new Niger. Every dime that is due to us, we will take it.
The visit was climaxed with the presentation of food items to some of the beneficiaries by the Niger State Governor Muhammad Umar Bago and the visiting Federal Commissioner Tijani Aliu Ahmad. Imena Hussaina Musa, NTA News.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC Limited, says it will continue to collaborate with the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NITI, and all relevant stakeholders in the Reconciliation Committee set up by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to investigate, review, and reconcile the financial records of alleged indebtedness to the Federation by both NNPC Limited and the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC. This is coming on the heels of calls by a non-governmental organization for a probe of several monies allegedly owed to the Federation by the National Oil Company. In a statement by Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPC Limited, Olufemi Shoneye, NITI has dismissed many of the allegations in the said 2021 report following a series of engagements with NNPC Limited. NNPC Limited also states that at the outset of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, it was made to sell premium motor spirits, PMS, imported into the country at 1/3 of its value, a development that gave rise to an average of 400 billion monthly subsidy bill, which subsequently put a strain on its revenues and finances. NNPC Limited further states that subsidy bill accumulated to up to 3.736 trillion as of May 31st, 2023. The statement also explains the status of various debts, including non-payment of NNPC Limited's share of upstream joint venture gas supplied to government-owned plants, incurring indebtedness of more than 174 billion naira by the Federation and over 309.07 billion at 434.8 naira for revenues not remitted to NEPL but paid into the Federation account, among others. The statement reiterates that NNPC Limited has a cordial relationship with NITI and that its books remain open to all stakeholders as the company is committed to delivering value to Nigerians with integrity and principles of transparency, accountability and performance excellence, which is the bulwark of the military leadership of the company. All right, you're watching Nationwide. We now join Lagos for more reports. I can see Adeola there. Adeola, good afternoon.
Gochukuka, good afternoon. Good to see you. Lagos State has remained a model for other states to emulate, especially in areas of infrastructural development and good governance. Ekiti State Governor Abiodun Oyebanji stated this when he joined Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to inaugurate the Oyingbo Red Line Overpass Bridge in Lagos. Musa Toliat has the details.
The Oyingbo Red Line Rail Overpass Bridge is the second to be inaugurated by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in 5 days. Ekiti State Governor Abiodun Oyebanji, in his capacity as the special guest of honor, joined Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to inaugurate the 717-meter bridge. The need to forestall needless accidents on rail level crossing and improve transportation efficiency necessitated the construction of the bridge.
When we promise a master plan where rail, road, water, infrastructure will work together, this is a classical example of it. Here in Oyingbo, you will see that there's a bus station that is a massive bus station, and there's going to be pedestrian walk to get onto the train stations. Right, so you can commute from the train stations onto the bus stations, and it will be seamless.
Lagos State has become a model for transformative leadership, for reforms, for innovation, and for good governance. And I advise Lagosians to treasure this pact.
Motorists coming from Yaba towards Oyingbo through Muritala Mohammed Way will have the option of using the flyover into Apapa.
There were 10 level crossings identified along the LRMT Red Line corridor. 5 of them were allocated to Lagos State Government and the 5 others to the Federal Ministry of Transport. These bridges are an essential part of the Rail Mass Transit Red Line project to ensure the safety of the people of Lagos.
As the federal government commences rehabilitation works on the Third Mainland Bridge, the Oyingbo Overpass will serve as a viable link from the mainland to the Lagos Island. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Matters, cervical cancer is one of the preventable forms of cancers if the human papillomavirus infection is caught early. To curb the number of avoidable deaths from the disease, the Nigerian government has begun vaccination of girls from 9 to 14 years. Hingino John Adams examines the impact of vaccination against the human papillomavirus.
Data by the World Health Organization reveal that it affects more than 12,000 women and claims about 8,000 lives annually in Nigeria. It is a form of cancer that occurs in the cervix. Cervical cancer comes with painful tales from families and friends of those that have lost loved ones from it.
My sister-in-law, Angie, died from cervical cancer in Nigeria. She never screened. If only there was screening, if only there was vaccination, Angie will be alive with us today.
The introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine against the virus that causes most of the cervical cancer cases into the National Routine Immunization Schedule, medical experts say is a step towards eradicating the disease.
In the next 10 years, we're talking about the cervical cancer is almost disappearing. Because once we treat human papillomavirus that causes cervical cancer, of course that woman will not develop cervical cancer.
The first stage of the HPV vaccination, which was flagged off on the 24th of October by wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, is aimed at immunizing more than 7 million girls from 9 to 14 years.
HPV vaccine is 100% safe. This is a vaccine that has been in existence for about 18 years now. This vaccine will prevent cervical cancer by 95%.
As Nigeria enters the global call for action to eliminate cervical cancer by adopting the 2020 World Health Assembly Global Strategy for Cervical Cancer Elimination, stakeholders believe the country will defeat the disease soon. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And we're done from Lagos for now. Nationwide will continue with Sadia in Sokoto after this time out. To stay with us.
Join us in Sokoto. Health authorities in Sokoto State have confirmed the resurgence of dengue fever in some parts of the state. Director of Public Health, Sokoto State Ministry of Health, Dr. Abdurrahman Ahmed, made the confirmation while briefing newsmen on the development. Zainab Saeed Abdul Nasser completes the report.
Sokoto State had previously recorded cases of dengue fever in 2016 and 2019. Recently, there has been apprehension among the general public following reports of strange fever in some parts of the state that was not responding to anti-malarial treatments. Worried by the development, the State Ministry of Health collected samples from the suspected cases, and the results indicated presence of dengue virus in some of the patients. The samples were collected from 3 local governments of Sokoto North, Sokoto South and Wamako, and so far no death or bleeding cases were recorded. Although not contagious, dengue fever is caused by Aedes mosquito, characterized by symptoms such as high fever, severe headache, joint and muscle pains, as well as general body weakness.
Dengue has no respect for any age. It can affect anybody, any age group. But in this very particular case, we see it more in adults.
To curb the spread of the virus, residents have been advised to ensure environmental sanitation and the use of mosquito nets. This is coming few days after the seizure of more than 1,200 jerrycans of adulterated cooking oil at the Sokoto Central Market and the interception of 5 truckloads of similar products brought into the state capital. In Sokoto, Zainab Saeed Abdul Nasser, NTA News.
As part of efforts to contain the spread of measles in Sokoto State, parents have been asked to present their wards for vaccination against the dreaded virus. The State Deputy Governor Idris Muhammad made the appeal while flagging off vaccination exercise against the child killer disease in Bodinga local government area. The latter Abdullahi Hasmo.
Statistics indicate that Sokoto State recorded more than 1,000 cases of measles in 2022 that claimed many children under the age of 5. To reverse the ugly scenario, the current administration in the state is evolving ways to ensure eligible children are immunized against the deadly disease this year, with flagging off the measles vaccination in the local government area.
The launch of this vaccination campaign is a significant milestone in our collective effort to eliminate measles, which is a preventable and potentially a deadly disease.
The exercise is a collaboration between Sokoto State Government and development partners and is expected to cover the entire state. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Sokoto for now. Ugo Chubuka, it's back to you.
Sadia in Sokoto, thank you very much. Now, the menace of street beggars at designated spots within Enugu metropolis has persisted despite sustained efforts to contain this trend by both past and present administrations. It is also alleged to be a contributory factor to the rising security challenge in the state. Comfort Ayim tells us more about this problem, which seems to have defied all solutions.
Did you get them today? Yes.
From all indications, street begging has become a booming family business in Nigeria without a startup capital. Majority who are said to be professionals have been in the business for decades, and this is not peculiar to Enugu State, where you see migrants. As they increase and multiply, the beggars alongside children are already gathered in their designated locations as early as 5 o'clock in the morning till evening to beg for alms. The popular Main Market entrance and exit gate is one of their favorable spots. Concerned individuals alleged that these beggars have organizations that sponsor their activities and wonder where they retire after their daily business. Meanwhile, barely 1 month after the evacuation exercise by the state government, the beggars seem to have disappeared from other designated spots and rather relocated to join those along Main Market area. In Enugu, Comfort, I am NTA News.
All right, Comfort is still there as she joins us live now to speak more on the menace of street beggars. Comfort, street begging is increasingly noticeable in many Nigerian cities with a good number of beggars with disabilities and medical conditions, while some used terminally ill persons and hired new babies. what is the situation and government's effort to address the trend in Enugu State?
Thank you, Ogochukwu. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu State. Talking about the menace of street beggars, it is an existential reality that Enugu State is one of the comfort zones for street beggars in Nigeria. And funny enough, majority of these beggars are migrants from other parts of the country. A growing burden residents hold tight to their chest seem to have defied all solutions by past administrations in spite of sustained efforts to nip it in the bud. And this current administration led by Governor Mba is not unaware of the ugly situation. This is why the Ministry of Gender Affairs recently embarked on evacuation to really get these people off the street. And I can tell you, shortly after that, we took a trip around the metropolis. From what we gathered, these beggars have actually disappeared from their designated spots, including where we are standing at the moment, popularly known as Rangers Avenue, by Hotel Presidential Enugu State, which is one of their designated spots. Rather, they have relocated to Abuja market area, which happens to be their headquarters. And now let's quickly get reactions from the street on the situation. Luckily, I have someone here. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Onyeba Felix Mweze, a clinical psychologist and a child protection advocate.
All right, sir. Talking about the menace of street beggars in Enugu State, what picture do you see in these people looking at their daily activities, and what does it portend for the future of the state?
It implies that the state is not safe because begging brings about miscreants. Beggars are a form of people that are not trained. You know, it defiles all kinds of government effort to bring them to, to normal human beings. Of course, Enugu State, as a state, in the past have tried so much by passing the child right law and, have a place where these beggars are kept and they're taken care of. But the point is that the money they make on daily basis are 2 times bigger than a salary of a civil servant. And you can imagine that. So the phenomenon of push and pull factor makes this begging business to be lucrative. Of course, some people are sponsoring them. Some people are using them for the business. And you can see some small children that are of school age. They're not in school, they're used for begging. You can see a newborn baby of about a week using for begging. It is uncalled for. It's not really good for the state.
And from what we gathered from the streets, some people are wondering where these people retire after their daily business activities and if they have sponsors.
They have, some of them, as I said, have sponsors. And some of them still sleep on the streets. And that is more risk because at that point, those adolescents among them can be used for prostitution, can be used for syndicates, they can be used for so many things, social vices. They learn how to smoke in their hemp from there. They learn how to rob from there. And if you are passing by, you can see how they attack you.
Okay, so where do we go from here? How do we get the foundation right?
It is clear and simple. The government has to do something by passing anti-begging law. Very important, anti-begging law. Yes, we have child right law, which is specifically for children, and that can cover child labor.
Thank you very much. Time could not permit us to also get to speak with other residents, but getting this drastically reduced to the barest minimum or eliminated, authorities must strengthen their internal surveillance lenses to ensure the war is won. Studio is back to you.
Thank you very much, Comfort. And now, as part of its mandate of building capacity in peace and conflict studies tailored towards accessing contemporary issues affecting national security and development, the National Defense College Course 32 study tour is taking place in Ebonyi State with a view to developing new security strategy for the country. Caleb Ogbonna reports that the team had audience with Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nwifuru at the new Government House, Centenary City, Abakaliki, on areas of concern.
The objective of the National Defense College Course 32 study tour to Ebonyi State, comprising 108 participants from the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, Immigration, Customs, and staff of strategic ministries and agencies, including international participants, is to bridge the knowledge gap in policy formulation and implementation as it articulates citizens and key players' inputs to contemporary issues affecting national security and development.
It is expected the participants will present their findings and bring out peculiarities, particularly as it concerns Ebonyi State. The report is expected to make useful recommendations that will be beneficial to the state government in promoting national unity for enhanced security and development. It is also expected that the tour will afford participants the opportunity to appraise the efforts of the government through policies and programs, as well as other frameworks put in place to ensure the national unity.
While applauding the efforts and contributions of the National Defense College Course and security agencies in mitigating incidences of crime and unrest in the country.
And since we are very much open to learn, so whatever thing you say, we take it serious. So your submission is very important to us, and we are very much interested.
The National Defense College Course 32 study tour is an annual event which is currently being carried out simultaneously in 6 selected states across the country for a period of 5 days. It has as its theme, strengthening national unity for security and development in Nigeria. In Abakaliki, Caleb Ogbonna, NTA News.
We'll now be joining Jenny Bassi, who has more reports on Nationwide. Jenny?
Very much, Ugochokoka. The Nigerian Television Authority NTA Port Harcourt Network Center is strengthening its relationship with strategic partners to enhance 24 hours broadcast. This is as the station paid a courtesy visit to the 6th Division Nigerian Army headquarters in Port Harcourt to commend its support to the station. Robinson Dorataide has details.
The Nigerian Television Authority and the Nigerian Army have been long-time partners in crime reportage aimed at enhancing the unity of the country. As part of its civil-military relationship, the 6th Division Nigerian Army donated 2 horsepower split unit air conditioners to the NTA Port Harcourt Zonal Center for the preservation of transmitter equipment. NTA Zonal Director Evelyn Woso, in company of our management team, appreciated the Army for its gesture while anticipating for improved security partnership.
Transmission because we got support for solar energy support. So we had solar panels, so we no longer do our transmission using it in NEPA or generator. So we use solar support all the way. I want to tell you thank you so much. You don't know what that meant. Because right now if you go into that room, we are sure that money to repair would have been another problem. Now you have taken care of that problem, but we cannot thank you enough.
General Officer Commanding 6th Division, who doubles as the Land Component Commander of JTF Operation Delta Save, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam, considers NTA as strategic to the success of its operational image.
The vision of the Chief Army Staff is to transform the Nigerian Army into a well-trained, equipped, and motivated, force that is capable of, doing this work in a joint environment. You are part of that joint environment. The jointness is not just between us and our sister services, like it's part of that extending or achieving that command philosophy of the Army Staff, and we feel we should extend the hand of friendship to you.
After the exchange of flag, the team was shown the light python, which is the symbol of the 6th Division Nigerian Army. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Dorataide, NTA News.
Akwa Ibom State government has become one of the first states in the federation to commence human papilloma virus vaccination against cervical cancer for girls between the ages of 9 to 14. Kelvin Samuel reports from the venue of the Flag of Inuyo.
The World Health Organization described the cervical cancer as the fourth most common cancer in women, with a total of 570,000 women diagnosed with the ailment in 2018. Out of the figure, 311,000 women have reportedly died of the disease globally, and the Akwa Ibom State government underscores the importance of the introduction of human papillomavirus vaccine into its routine immunization to demonstrate its commitment to prevent cervical cancer in the state.
Experts say that effective primary and secondary prevention approaches will prevent most cervical cancer cases. This is why today's event is a step in the right direction.
The Commissioner for Health and other stakeholders encourage parents and guardians to allow their girls between the ages of 9 to 14 to take advantage of the opportunity, which will help secure a healthy future for them.
Cervical cancer is a disease of women, and that's why we are targeting this at women.
To encourage our young girls to have access to this vaccine. Let the mothers, the fathers, the parents allow them to come and take this vaccine. It is not for now, it is for their future.
High point of the event were the presentation of gifts to the girls by the Deputy Governor and the official commencement of immunization. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
Nationwide continues from Enugu with Chineye after this break.
Thank you for staying tuned. Nigeria and the United Kingdom are joining forces to curb threats in the aviation industry and the unmanned aerial system. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this is in view of the rapid development in the aviation industry and the possible misuse of drones.
It is more than 22 years since the September 11 terrorist attack in the U.S., but the memories of the impact of the tragic incident remains fresh.
Terrorists and their affiliates have also weaponized transportation networks and means to commit acts of terror.
Desensitization and building of operational and tactical capacity of aviation stakeholders is aimed at preventing and ensuring effective response to terrorist acts against transportation.
It is imperative that we develop an in-depth understanding of this threat and work towards to devise robust and proactive strategies to mitigate the adverse challenges in order to strengthen our aviation security.
The forum also deliberates on modalities for countering drone threats to aviation in view of the rapid development in the unmanned aerial system, with emphasis on misuse.
Unmanned aerial vehicles have evolved from being tools of reconnaissance to being used as contemporary weapons. Drones have become a means and has changed the way wars, especially low-intensity conflict, are being waged.
We will share to the UK government, the threat is real, noting that joint efforts against the common enemy is the way out.
The threat is global, and terrorists do not respect boundaries, so neither should we in this respect.
The program has stakeholders from the security and transportation sectors. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The security challenges in Zamfara State for more than a decade now have resulted in the displacement of many communities across the 14 local government areas of the state. Jamilu Ibrahim takes a look at the plight of the internally displaced persons who are mostly taking refuge in the state capital, Gusau.
The spate of terrorist attacks ravaging communities across the 40 local government areas of Zamfara State has continued to heighten humanitarian crisis, especially the influx of the internally displaced persons, particularly in the state capital, Gusau. The condition of the IDPs, mostly women and children, is terrible and sympathetic, and they are obviously finding it very difficult to survive.
I and my little daughter are yet to take our breakfast, as we have nothing to eat.
I I have been taking refuge in Gusau since when my community was sacked by the terrorists more than a year ago. There is currently nobody in the village. Despite the periodic distribution of relief materials to the internally displaced persons by government and non-governmental organizations, as well as the recent construction of a resettlement city for some of the IDPs in Gusau by the federal government, some keen observers say there is still a very long way to go.
Apart from taking good care of them while they are in places that are not their homes, at the same time, we expect the government to fight the issue of insecurity seriously, so that the IDPs can have the peace of mind to go back to their ancestral homes.
With the recent interface between Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal and the leadership of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons on the increasing humanitarian crisis in the state, it is expected that more interventions for the teeming IDPs are in the offing. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
We are now done with Jamilu Ibrahim, who is still there live in Gusau to speak on the plight of IDPs in Zamfara State. Jamilu, the menace of armed banditry and cattle rustling has for decades posed serious security challenges in Zamfara State. Just hold on, I'm still coming.
Thank you, Ogochukwu. We are live in Gusau.
Okay.
As rightly highlighted in the background report, the problem of insecurity that has been prevalent in Zamfara State over the last 1 decade has given rise to the problem of IDPs from across the 40 local government areas of Zamfara State. I'm currently standing as one of the areas that host the IDPs on the outskirts of Gusau, the capital of Zamfara State, which is called Ongor Dambaba Tsunami. And record from the State Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development shows that there are no fewer than 15,000 IDPs currently in Zamfara State. And most of these IDPs, it is important to note that they are not residing in IDP camps. Most of them are residing in the houses of their friends and relatives. This place is one of the popular spots of IDPs in the Ongor Dambaba Tsunami. Though it now looked deserted because most of the IDPs are currently in the town, roaming the streets, begging for alms for them to feed themselves and their children. Until recently, the federal government has constructed an IDP resettlement city containing 40 housing units in Gusau, the state capital. But the resettlement city is yet to be operational. The State Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development says efforts are being intensified to allocate the houses to the most deserving IDPs in the state. With me to speak more on this issue is the chairman of an indigenous humanitarian group in the state, Zamfara Circle Community Initiative, Dr. Aminu Safi. Doctor, you are welcome.
Thank you, Malam Jamil.
What is your assessment of the current situation of IDPs in Zamfara State?
Well, if we are to be honest, their situation is really very dire. They have not been receiving any form of support from the state government. The previous government's policy officially is not to recognize their existence, and this government, so far, without any making any pronouncement, has carried on with that policy because nothing is being done for them. But the federal government has been forthcoming. It has been providing some sort of support through the National Emergency Management Agency and the Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs. But that is not enough. I think their situation needs to be improved.
Another issue of serious concern of that of children of the IDPs in terms of their schooling and proper upbringing. How do you think this could be addressed?
As we've been saying, there are over, as per government's figure, there are over 700 IDPs, although no one can tell you the exact figure. That means there are a lot of children that have been dropped out of school.
Doctor, we are running out of time. And this is all we can take from this end. Back to Abuja for the continuation of the nationwide. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jamilu. I guess you were so much in a hurry to provide solution as a stakeholder in the Nigerian project. All right, we'll now take a break. We'll be right back.
The Nigerian Communications Satellite on focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week, leveraging on technology and assets with those who should know. NTA Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Incisive and educative. Join us.
Chineye now, who is standing by in Enugu. Chineye, what's the latest from that zone?
Thank you so much, Ogochukwuka. Welcome to Enugu. Mediation and conciliation have been described as keys to communal conflicts and dispute resolution. These were the submissions of key players at the annual lecture series organized by the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators in Enugu. Chidi Okurafo reports.
The theme of the 2023 annual lecture is Managing Communal Conflicts through Mediation in Enugu State, a focus on traditional institutions and town union administration. According to the keynote speaker, conflicts, if well managed, could bring about positive developments. He called on traditional institutions, town union administrators, and other relevant stakeholders to embrace mediation in settling communal conflicts.
Peace, harmony, and development of their various communities. Then, they must have respect for each other and know that is the primary aim, and therefore to listen to superior reason.
Others who spoke at the event described the theme as apt in view of the level of insecurity in the society.
Alternative to dispute resolution. It is being aged long because the parties own mediation.
The event featured award presentations to some members and personalities for their contributions to the Institute and the society. In Enugu, Chidi Okrafo, NTA News.
In line with its mandate to boost the mental and psychological well-being of men of the Nigerian Air Force to be combatant ready always, the Enugu Grand Training Command of the Air Force has held its 2023 10-kilometer marathon. Again, Chidi Okurafo reports.
The exercise we are witnessing is an annual exercise of the force. It is aimed at keeping the body fit and strong. The 10-kilometer marathon exercise, which include jogging and walking, took off from the Air Force Base, Emene, through Tinker's Corner to the Abakpa Junction, Enugu. According to the Air Officer commanding Grand Training Command, Air Vice Marshal Usman Abdullahi, the Nigerian Air Force 10-kilometer marathon is also a way of demonstrating their readiness in the fight against insurgency and other forms of criminality in the country.
So the purpose is to keep the men fit and to test our fitness. It is only when we are fit that we'll be able to carry out our constitutional responsibility. If we are not fit, we will not be able to do that, and that is the purpose of today's exercise.
Enugu State Commissioner of Police reacts.
I will say a great sense of belonging among our sister agencies. We came here to socialize.
The Nigerian Air Force exercise involved different categories of participants. Winners were rewarded with prizes. It was attended by representatives of some security agencies. From the Nigerian Air Force Base, Emene Enugu, Chidi Okrafo, NTA News.
And that is it from here. Ogochukwuka is back to you in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Chineye. Now, former primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oku, congratulates President Bola Tinubu on the affirmation of his election victory by the Supreme Court. The cleric, however, wants the president to deploy his influence in the ECOWAS sub-region towards tackling what he termed needless deaths due to irregular migration. Victor Azu reports.
It's the Divine Commonwealth Conference DIFCON of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion. More than 200 bishops and archbishops from within and outside the country are attending this year's event. In his address, Primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Heron Dokoba urged Christians to continue trusting God regardless of their circumstances.
Do not be denied by your perceived inadequacies or even the enormity of the challenges or the enemies that are before you. When we trust in the Lord, He will equip us and enable us to fulfill His purpose.
For former primate and initiator of the annual event, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, it is an opportunity to bear his mind on some national and international issues. He wants President Tinubu to deploy his reach and influence on the continent.
The Nigerian people will be his project. Their food, their health, the education of their children, and the exodus of our young people going abroad for beautiful and the ugly should be checked.
The Divine Commonwealth Conference DIFCON ends on Friday. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
A leadership retreat organized for secondary school head boys and girls aimed at remodeling and transforming current leadership mindset of young people to a purposeful, intentional and accessible leadership features has held in Abuja. Christiana Akonde reports that it was put together by Godspeed Leadership and Mentorship Development Initiative.
If we can, at this stage, take a positive step to see how we can address or we can nurture young leaders to grow with the mind to serve, Nigeria is going to be better than the way it is.
You know, there are leaders who are made, there are leaders who are born. Okay? But whichever one you are, you still have to nurture yourself. You must be nurtured.
You must be patient as an head boy. As a leader also, you must accept other people's advice, not only your own advice.
It takes a lot to be a leader. It takes zeal, it takes self-respect.
The program is expected to enable the young ones view leadership as responsibility, prepare them for the future, and for them to see themselves as the leaders of today and tomorrow. All right, that's how it's been on Nationwide today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ogochkuka. Ona.